Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another devlog. Well, guys, today I promised that I'd take you even further behind the scenes into some of the things that make the game tick. This isn't going to be such a visual devlog, but it will be an interesting one for those of you that are more technically minded. So here you can see the database. Now, for the game, this is what stores all of the actors, classes, skills, items, weapons, armors, enemies, and so forth that allow the game to function as it does. So let's take you... Now, big spoilers ahead for those of you that don't want to be spoiled. Please skip ahead or move away or whatever through some of the characters. Okay. Last chance, and already you've been a little bit spoiled because you can see the names if you've stayed this long. Okay, let's carry on. So this is Annie, he is the main protagonist of the game. Joining him in the cast we have Blaze, Kirst, Sarah, Mix, who is Annie's sprite, Kelry, Keldin, Terra, Han, Paya, Z, Trix, Liv, Tia, Mirror, and Ten. And also, one final one there that those of you that might be more familiar with things or have been paying close attention might realize why these ones are going to be so special. But yeah, so those are the characters that you'll have to play through in the game, which is quite a few. So you will only have 8, and the other ones such as Mix or Han and these lot are all of your sprites. So each of these sprites corresponds to one of the characters, and each of them have a particular class. For instance, Annie is a sword spriter, Blaze is the axe spriter, Kirst uses a spear, Sarah uses a bow, Kelry uses a chakram, Keldin uses books, and Terra uses a mace. So based on what particular thing they can utilize, gives them different stats, which you can see over here. This controls what their maximum HP, attack, defense, MP, all those sort of abilities. Although in the game we do not call it MP, we call it SP, just in the background. It is an MP system. Alright, so as you can see, we have all of that set up. We also have skills. So how many different types of skills do we have? Well, we've got your basic attack and guard, also got some other skills over here, which are your combo skills. You've got some low healing skills, and then you've got your specials. So let's just take you through how many Annie will have by himself. So for Annie, we have got all of these down here from 48 through 55. Those are his special abilities. Now these are activated with TP. So TP is gained every time you take damage in a battle, or every time you do damage to an enemy using your main attack, you will gain a certain amount of TP. After you have a certain amount of TP, you can use it to use your character's special abilities, being one of these, and you can see what their effects do. Now, this game being still in development, there are a lot of spelling errors in this, I'm sure. However, I will be working on that. Then in abilities, you got your I forgot to say, special abilities are linked to your sword sprite, or your axe sprite, or your mace sprite. Depending on the character that you're using, the special abilities will differ greatly, both in their effect and their cost. Abilities, however, are a bit more general. Most characters have access to healing, multi-healing, and then, depending on which character you use once again, the abilities will change. But these are more focused on stats, healing, or recovery, or things like that. Then you go on to mastery. Now these are weapon-specific moves that will focus on what you are using. For instance, Annie uses a sword, so these are all sword-based mastery moves. Then from there we get on to elemental. As you can guess by the names, I'm sure, Annie is a water elemental, or at least his Spriters, so he gets to use all of the water abilities, and you can see their effects there. Then we move on to buffs and debuffs. Annie is focused on HP, so using Annie will give you the ability to buff your HP or your party member's HP, or debuff your enemy's HP or their party's HP. So that is Annie. Now, then we move on to Axe and so on and so forth. For each of them, they each have their own focus. But is that all they can do? No. Because within the game, every time you defeat an enemy, you get a chance to get a gem. Once you have augmented your sphere with one of these gems, it will give you the ability to utilize that enemy's technique in battle, as long as you have that sphere equipped to you, that gem equipped to your sphere. There we go. So we have a grand total of all of those abilities, each with their own unique effect that you can utilize in battle that is open for you to use. As you can see, most of them are just the name and the element right now, but we do have some of them implemented already, as you can see over here. Gentle Glow emits a gentle glow and restores some SP. MP recover, MP cost and TP cost. Alright guys, so we are generally having a ton of skills. Those are just the ones you learn through level up or get from your defeating pantomimes and claiming their gems. Then you also get extra skills that I'm still working on, that I haven't quite completed yet, that will get you to learn abilities from people that you meet, that you come into contact with. For example, basic spear combos that allow you to do 3-step combos instead of just a single step like you were doing with the sword. So I think that will be quite interesting. We also have a metronome-like move, for those of you familiar with Pokemon, but we'll get more into that another time. Then you've got your items. These are items that can be used in battle or out of battle, depending. But you got your potions, your nectars. Nectars are basically like elixirs. They restore your SP. So they serve that function. You got your antidote, eye drops, lozenges, smelling salts, alarm clocks, just to get rid of your status effects. Then you've got your one use, one find that will raise your max HP by 50 permanently. These are permanent upgrades if you find these items. Increase your attack by 3 or your special attack by 3, depending on what you find and use this for. Glittering tokens, which are collectible throughout the game. Collect a certain amount and something special might just happen. Then you got your well passes. These allow you to travel to Welltown, and they are the fast travel system of the game. I will get more into that later. Also, a whole bunch more items, shards, crystals, gems, that do all sorts of different things. Yep, there are a ton of items that you can have fun with and that you can use. Then we get onto the foods, like this. These foods can be combined together into recipes. Combining the foods together will allow you to craft different recipes. For instance, pancakes or rugai bœuf, beef and veg soup, cottage pie, farm breakfast. There is indeed a cooking system in the game. So you should have a lot of fun with that, I hope. And they all provide various buffs, as you can see from the beef shawarma. It provides quite a lot of nice buffs to you there if you can get your hands on all the ingredients necessary to make it. Then of course the Pantopedia, which we went into in the very first video. So there are a lot of different things here, and also a crafting system to craft various things over here. Then we get onto the weapons. The weapons are handled in terms of spheres. So each character will use spheres. You've got your basic sphere all the way up to your hallowed sphere over there. Then you've got your elemental type spheres, which will add elemental attacks to your weapons. You've also got crystal spheres that will allow you to get extra crystal slots to equip more crystals to yourself, or gem spheres or such things that will allow you to do that. Got your armors, all sorts of different armors, focusing either on physical defense or special defense. You've got tokens that will increase a specific stat to a little degree, and then you got charms that will do that, and then you got tokens that have a plus minus effect. So they'll decrease a certain stat by a lot, but also raise a certain stat by a lot. So it's a bit of a choose which one you want to use sort of situation there, and depending on which one you choose, it will have a certain effect. Then we come onto your enemies. So if you don't want to be spoiled, these are all of the pantomimes in the game so far. So I'll just have a quick through of them. You can see we have quite a few different enemies for you to face off in your journey. Over there. Okay. Then we've also got the troops. So this is how we structure the enemies, how they appear to you, for instance, like that. You got your states, a whole lot of different states that can be inflicted or that you can use on your enemies. Animations, like that show off what happens when you use a certain thing in battle. Alright, you got your tile sets. This enables you to choose what particular tile set to use for different maps. Common events, these are all the different common events that I'm using so far. And the system. So yeah guys, that is the database. Now let me take you through. I'm busy working on the deep abyss at the moment. So let me take you through into one of the rooms here. Let's say B3A. Now currently this room has quite a few different things going in it. Each of the dungeons that you progress through will give you a special dungeon specific item. Think Legend of Zelda like, that you will be able to use to solve puzzles, both in that dungeon and in the other dungeons in the game and in the world outside the dungeons. So in this particular dungeon, you get this item. If I open here, this gives you the Magnet Glove. Now the Magnet Glove is a specialty item that allows you to attract yourself across gaps by pulling yourself magnetically. It also allows you to move things magnetically, like chests that might be difficult to reach as long as they are metallic chests. And a few other uses which we'll get into at another time. This is a little spark, and what this spark's job is it will always hug a particular wall, in this case the left wall. So this little spark will move along the left wall until it collides with the player, in which case it will damage the player, and that is handled over here. If we come in here, so it will flash the screen if it is touched. It will flash the screen, play some sound effects for you, change the entire party's hit points down by 5, also allowing knockout, wait 20 frames, and then switch to A. This will wait 20 frames, switch A off, which will set it back there. Now the reason why it goes over here where it's inactive for a while is because if we didn't have the step where it was inactive for a while, it would trap the player. So it would constantly just deal damage, and the player would faint. But this allows the player to a split second to be able to, after taking damage, run away and be safe from the whole thing. So that allows us to move along. This over here is a little block that through a certain plugin we can allow it to be picked up and to be moved using this comment throw 6, have giant's brace. So long as we have that switch enabled and we have throw enabled, we can pick this up and throw it to our heart's desire. Now I've currently got it set on 6, but I might lower or raise that. I'm just testing it around to see how it feels. I'm thinking of just putting it on 1. I think these are big heavy blocks and you shouldn't be able to lob them 6 blocks across the map. But yeah, we've also got these over here. And this is an entirely different room with a different puzzle. So you can see how the whole puzzling mentality would go, especially if I make you aware that if the spark touches over there, it enables a switch. So it switches something to a new state that it wasn't on previously. So yeah, that's basically it guys for that part that I wanted to talk about. But enough yammering on, I hear you say. Let's see a bit of gameplay. So let's take my dude, set starting position for the player and plonk him down here. And let's get going, shall we? System security, lockdown active. Please repower the floor field. Alright, so let's just come here quickly and get that. That we would have found in another dungeon in the game, but we need it in order to move these giant blocks around. So let's pick that up and we can toss it over there, like so. But let's just show you what I was talking about the spark. So let's stand in front of it. Yep, and that does a little bit of damage to us, as you can see by the HP meter. That won't be in the actual main game itself. You would have to come into here. I've just got it there for testing. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should the HP meter stay there permanently? I'm not too sure. So yeah, basically it does damage. So you can allow it to run into you quite a few times, but it is quite injuring, and you must remember you will be running into enemies at the same time, so not something you want to be doing overly much, that is for certain. So let's quickly just come in here and throw those in the way of the spark there, so it can make its way around back to us. Also thinking of increasing its speed. I think it moves a bit too slowly at the moment, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Right, and the spark will make its way back around to us over here. And it should land on this pad and open a bridge for us to cross. Yep, indeed it does. Right, so that allows us to come through here, go into the magnet chest. System security, magnet glove allows the use of magnetic travel of objects or people. Simply press A when range of a pole or magnetic object to activate. So we just come here and whoop, we get pulled across the gap, which I think is pretty cool. Then we can come out of this room because we've acquired what we need to progress, and come into the deep abyss, B3. Right, and we can explore some of the other rooms. If we come over here, that'll allow us to come across here. And now we need to try and line up our throws. This is also why I'm thinking of making it 1, so it's a bit easier to line up the throws. Not too much of a challenge, hopefully. Okay, just to get it like that, and that will allow us to get that little spark where we want it to be. Let's just move this chest across here and get 100 gold. Now, we've gone and gotten the spark stuck, orbiting something that's not there. So what do we have to do to get it back? Well, we can take one of two approaches, right? We can take one of the blocks and move it so that the spark can move into the wall, or we could get ourselves hurt continually. I'm more of a fan of just using a block to get it on the right alignment again. Adds a bit of interest. Right, we need to block that spark's path there. There we go. Awesome. Okay, and then we can move across here and get this chest, which for now contains some more gold. Alrighty, so that's the basic system that will be in play, but with more and more challenging puzzles as you continue to make your way through the dungeon, also with pantomimes appearing in the overworld which you need to take out. So I hope you guys like this a little bit, and I want to show you something else quickly. Let's come all the way back over here. Yep. Starting position for the player over there. I have so far gotten 2 voice actors for 2 of the main characters in the game, that being Sarah and Kirst. And I would like to showcase a little bit of their voice talents quickly for you guys. A big thank you to both Rhiannon and Heather for agreeing to do this. So let's bring them in here and get into a battle. Alright, as you can hear guys, they're speaking another language. It is not English. This is, I found, just gives a nice flavor to the game and enables me to have more creative liberty. Let's show you a bit more of their talents. And of course, Annie wants to do all the talking, unfortunately. So you're not getting to hear much of the other characters. Let's try again. There we go. So yeah, guys, if any of you have any thoughts or comments or suggestions, please let me know down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. As always, my name is Athais. Good night and God bless. Bye for now.